on, girl, let's scream.
I am a god.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel. This is the part where you run.
Come on, scream.
Hello, and welcome to Let's Scream, a podcast where we usually dive into our favorite horror movies, but it's No Scream November. I'm Parker.
And I'm Stevie.
Today we're looking at 2019's Dora and the Lost City of Gold, directed by James Bobbin.
Join us as we journey to Parapata and learn all about the Lost City of Gold. Girl, are you ready to not scream?
Oh, I'm ready to not scream.
Come on, girl. Let's not
scream.
scream. And I'm actually really glad we're not screaming today because my throat is so sore. So if everyone's wondering why I sound like a frog in this recording today, I have just been coming over a cold and it's just like now it's gotten into my throat and it's just like...
Yeah, my voice is a little fucked today too because we went to a wedding last night.
Yeah. That also was, we were out late.
Which was fun, but we're paying for it today.
Yes, long day still.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Parker and I, there was a moment where I was living with Parker, and there was a day where both Parker and I had off, and we decided to just watch a bunch of movies. We watched Jennifer's Body for the first time, which
became one of my absolute favorite
became one of
movies.
your absolute favorites.
Yeah.
If you all have not listened to our Jennifer's Body podcast, go listen to that.
It's a good one.
We also watched the Sonic and the Hedgehog movie, the first one, which was fine.
I'm not a big Sonic person, so I was like, eh.
Yeah. We watched Velma and Daphne, which...
Honestly, iconic.
Diabolical, too.
So bad, but so good.
So good. And then we also watched Dora and the Lost City of Gold. Mm-hmm. And I was like, Parker, this movie is probably going to suck. And when it starts to suck, we'll just turn it off. This movie did not suck.
No, we never turned it off.
This movie...
It's fun.
Is fun. It pleasantly surprised us. Yeah. And when we rewatched it, I was reminded that it's even better than I remember. It is a fun time. The main actress who plays Dora, Isabella Merced? Isabella Merced?
How do you spell it?
Merced?
Merced.
She is great. She understands the role.
Yeah.
She camps it up.
She's great.
And she's apparently an alien Romulus.
Yeah, which we still need to see. We're waiting for it to hit streaming, but yeah, she does a great job. I mean, the whole movie would fail if this actress didn't commit to this super campy version of Dora that we get.
Yes.
But she does a great job.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm excited now that she's going to be a Scream Queen and seeing what other horror movies she's going to do going forward. Apparently, she's really good in Alien Romulus.
I love that. And the director, James Bobbin, he's done like Muppets movies. Okay. Well... do you have anything to say about this movie? Like, anything else? I mean, this one I don't really have too much to say about, but other than it's a fun fucking time.
No, Listen, I'm not going to be much of an input today because I was not able to, like, really sit down and watch this movie this week because I had a lot going on. My best friend was getting married, da-da-da-da-da. So I ended up having to try and watch it this morning with y'all when you guys had Hannah over, our friend. And Hannah and Keaton were talking a lot, and your guys' TV is in front of like this bright window, and I can't really see the screen half the time.
Yeah,
when the sun's shining through.
If it gets dark.
And I was just busy today, so sorry, y'all. I kind of didn't get a chance to rewatch this one, but I'm gonna try and... I didn't know what was going on.
So basically, I'm doing all the work this week. Parker was like, I want a week off.
No. It wasn't my fault. I just couldn't get to it. And then they were talking, so what the fuck was I supposed to do?
Tell them to shut up.
I did. It didn't work.
Okay, well, we'll get into this movie. If you all do not want this masterpiece of a film spoiled, then go watch it. It's on Paramount Plus. So... let's get into it. And
are you ready to not scream, girl?
I'm ready to not scream.
Come on, girl. Let's not
scream. So we open up with a card, like a title card stating that everything we are about to see in this film is true. Except that foxes don't actually swipe. That is a nasty stereotype. And this has been brought to you by the Fox Council of the Americas. Gracias. We then meet a young Dora, her cousin Diego, her monkey Boots. We meet Backpack. Backpack's alive. Same with Map. They're alive and talking. They're running through the jungle, and it's giving us the Dora theme song.
Dora.
You liked Dora.
I loved Dora. Well, I fucking loved Dora because it was when I first realized I loved like learning other languages, and I ended up like studying Spanish for a long time, and I love Spanish, so it was kind of my introductory to that. And
well, thank you, Dora.
Yeah, and I just thought she was always really cute, and I loved that she would like talk to us. She was a little slow on the responses sometimes.
So then she gave us a little too much effort. She was like,
yeah.
But I think there were some slow kids watching.
I think so too.
And she knew it. She's like, okay. She's like, I get it. You smart kids, you got it. But yeah, no, I remember watching a premiere of Dora.
What?
It's like the first episode.
Oh wow, that's fun.
I remember when they were talking about like new show coming to Nick Jr. I was like, holy shit, I love her. Cause she had that bob.
Oh, I loved her bob.
A little bob. She always got her tummy peeking out.
Yeah, she invented the midriff. Yeah.
So yeah, we open up on them going on a little adventure.
I liked this.
It's really cute, and it makes you think that this film is gonna be like, oh, everything's gonna be like, it's gonna be the animated series. But plot twist, it was all a dream.
It was all a dream.
And they were just make-believe. And so this is the second movie in a row we've watched where the opening sequence was make-believe.
What we watched last week?
Confessions of a Teenage Drama.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. I've been busy, okay?
Okay,
My mind's been elsewhere.
So we are introduced to Dora's family, and we learn that
her mom is Eva Longoria.
Is played by Eva Longoria, and I will say, when we first watched this movie and Eva Longoria popped up on screen, I looked at Parker and I said, "Oh my god, this is a real movie."
Yeah, it's legit. When Eva shows up,
it's like, oh, because she does not show up for nothing.
No,
she's like, no, this has to be serious. I will only get my check if it's serious.
Oh, I love Eva Longoria. I mean, come on, Gabriella Solis.
I love.
She's one of the best housewives. Yeah,
she's so funny in that.
Bree's my favorite for sure.
Bree's the best.
She's so funny.
So insane.
She's crazy.
Susan's the worst.
Yeah.
Susan's literally the worst. And then Lynette is unbearable.
Lynette suffered more than Jesus.
She really did.
Everything that could have happened to one woman happened to Lynette.
Divorce, house knocked down by a tornado, cancer.
Seriously.
And so we learned that Diego is moving to LA, and they're all sitting at the dinner table. So Diego has been staying with Dora and her family. And they're eating dinner, and Dora goes, "This meal is so delicioso. Can you say delicioso?" And looks like right at the camera. And like all the characters are like, what the fuck is she doing? And the dad just goes, "Don't worry, she'll grow out of it.
It's just a phase."
Yeah. So it's like, oh, she's gonna touch the autism.
She's very autistic
coded. Like that is literally Dora's character.
Yeah. It's so funny. I remember like that joke being like, "Oh, I get the tone of this."
Yeah.
Like, very self-aware.
Yes. Oh, this movie is so self-aware.
Very campy.
So Dora's parents are explorers, which is why they're living in the jungle right now. And Diego notices on their map a place called Parapata. And he says, "What's that?" And so then Dora's father goes into the story of Parapata and how it's an Inca city that's made of gold, or probably made of gold.
Some shit.
And they are looking for it, but nobody knows if it exists or if it's a myth or what. And Diego and Dora ask, "Oh, so if we find the treasure, like, do we get to keep it?" And the parents are like, "Oh, no, we don't keep the treasure. We're not treasure hunters. We're explorers, and just finding places, that's the real treasure."
Very the opposite of Laura Croft.
Yes.
Who steals everything, kills endangered species constantly for no reason, and kills many men. People. Yeah.
Because they start shooting at her first, though.
True.
Dora is also convinced that Boots can talk, and Diego kind of gets mad at her about it.
Well, yeah, this was funny to me because it was like, yeah, they're playing out in the backyard, and you realize that all of their adventures have just been this imaginary fantasy,
which is really cool to be like, oh, the whole series was just make believe.
Sure, but then I thought it was funny because Boots is just real.
He's like a real fucking monkey.
It's like an actual monkey. And
But
when we meet Swiper later, it's like the same thing. Like he's an actual talking fox. Like, okay.
yeah. But Boots doesn't talk, but Dora's convinced he does. And Diego gets mad at Dora when she's convinced that Boots talks. And she's like, you're just mad at me because you're moving, right? And he's like, well, duh.
Yeah, I like their relationship.
It's a really cute relationship.
Definitely reminded me of my cousin, who were very close growing up. And anytime that we had to be separated, or like my dad had to drive us back home, it was always sad. I was like, damn.
The next day, Diego and Dora wish each other good luck and say their goodbyes. And Diego breaks a chocolate bar in half. And he's like, here, you take this half, I'll take this half. And then we flash forward 10 years. And Dora is running away from angry pygmy elephants. And she says, can you say angry pygmy elephants?
Yeah, she wants us
She's
to
like
know
a
what everything
vlogger
is.
now.
Yeah.
Then she points out like this toxic frog. And she's like, oh, touching this frog will cause full body paralysis. Can you say severe neurotoxicity?
Great.
Great. And while running through the jungle with Boots, Dora then comes across an Inca temple. And she sees a gold statue that she believes will lead her to Parapata. And so she has to make this giant jump. And she's like, Boots, I got this. Like, don't worry. And she does this giant leap. And she misses.
She fell.
She
And
fell,
she fell hard.
Whoa. She fell. And she fell hard, bitch.
Her parents come to her rescue. And they get the gold statue. And they discover that it is indeed a map to Parapata. And Dora is so excited. And she's like, we gotta go. And the parents are like, we're gonna go. You're not. Because we don't think you're ready after what happened today. After you ran off and got hurt. And Dora's like, no, like, I'm fine. It's okay. Like, I'll be fine. And they're like, no, like, we just don't think that's good. And, like, you're young. And we really want you to, like, really experience all that life has. So we're going to send you to stay with Diego and his family in LA.
They want her to get socialized.
Yep.
And
Yep.
very Katie from Mean Girls.
Yes.
Vibes.
Very that. While they're getting her ready to move to LA, Dora's dad talks about, like, listen, you'll have fun with their culture. You'll go to EDM concerts and play hacky sack and the music. And he does, like, this whole, like, breakdown of how music, like, EDM music is.
He's funny, yeah.
It's really good. And he is so sexy.
All of the men.
All of the men in this movie, sexy.
Gorgeous. Dora's, like, family tree. They're just...
Her uncle. Oh, we only get, like, 2 shots of him, but I was like,
But
damn.
I wanted more.
I was like, damn, daddy. And then Dora flies to LA and she sticks out like a sore thumb.
Because she looks like Dora.
She looks like Dora. She is dressed like Dora. And like Diego's family's like, oh, I hope we'll recognize her. Do you think we'll recognize her?
But she looks the same.
And then Diego's like, I don't think that's gonna be a problem. She comes sliding down the like banister of the stairs.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, Diego's family. Oh my gosh.
It's me, Dora. Diego has changed.
Diego has changed. He's become a part of the climate. He's an LA kid.
He went into the real world.
Yep.
And he got traumatized like all of us do.
Yep.
So he is an angsty teen now.
Yep.
And he thinks Dora's embarrassing the way she
Yep.
acts.
Yep. Yep. And then we meet Abuelita.
Love.
And she looks just like she does in the cartoons.
Perfect.
And she is so sweet. And she's so excited to see Dora.
Mm-hmm.
And she's one of my favorites. And we learned that Dora kept that candy bar that Diego split in half.
It's all like moldy now. And she's like, here.
He's like, what the hell is that? And she's like, it's the candy bar that we split in half 10 years ago. And he's like, I probably ate mine 10 years ago. She's like, oh, I thought we would like smush them back together.
He's like,
He's
okay.
like, okay, well,
bye.
I'm gonna leave now.
And then she eats the nasty, moldy side of the candy bar.
And then that night she sleeps outside because it makes her feel at home, I think. But she just keeps hearing a bunch of like police sirens and ambulances.
She's like a helicopter, yeah, all these distracting noises now that she's in the city.
For her first day of school, she starts singing the backpack song.
Love.
She's like, backpack, 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 backpack. You wanna tap that.
Oh, who was that? What's her name? Oh, Flo Millie.
Flo Millie.
Flo Millie. I love.
Tap that.
Look at my ass fat. Look at my Snapchat. That's a great song.
And Diego tries to prep her for high school. He's like, okay, listen, we're all just trying to survive right now.
Yeah.
It's miserable. So just like keep your head down and
Try not to stand out.
Try not to stand out. Well, that doesn't really go well because at the school metal detector, because we're in LA, Dora gets stopped at the metal detector. And, she got everything in there. She got flares. She got iodine pills to sanitize water.
Yeah.
She's got a yo-yo. She's got...
all kinds of shit.
All kinds of shit. And the guy's...
She has a shit shovel for when she has to take a dookie in the woods.
Yep. And the person's like, the security's like, you can't take any of this in. Like, you can pick it up after school.
And she's like, well, what the fuck am I gonna do?
And it sets off, the school alarm goes off, so everyone's late.
Yeah, she held up the line. Now they're all shitty with Dora.
Dora then meets Sammy Moore, who is the smartest girl in the school. She is
Hermione
an
Granger.
athlete. She's school president.
Hermione Granger coded.
And she is raising money to save the rainforest. And this is really funny because Dora goes up here and goes, which rainforest?
She like lists them all.
She like lists all. She's like, well, what's happened to them? She's like, well, you know what? I believe that through plant-based diet and conservation, we can save the rainforest. And it's like, she's right.
She's so right.
Everything Dora says in this movie, she's 100% right. Just so you know that.
And Sammy's like, bitch, who are you? And why are you smarter than me?
Why are you
so
smart? And what are
by
you
her.
doing in my school?
Yeah.
She's like pissed off.
Threatened.
And she gives Dora a free cupcake. And Dora's like, oh, she's nice. And Diego says, no, she's like the worst
She's
human
a
being.
huge bitch.
Like,
Everyone
we
hates her.
all hate her.
Yeah.
She's like, oh no, she's like school president and she's an athlete and she's the smartest school in her class. Oh, so everyone must like really respect her. No, we all
fucking hate her. Yeah.
Which is also like how it is. It's like, why are kids so like, we get mad at like, other kids being smart or successful?
It's jealousy.
It's such a
Kids are cruel, man.
Kids are so cruel. Dora then meets Randy. And he's the nerd. And
nerdy kid.
She notices he's wearing a shirt of the Milky Way or like the galaxy and it's like pointing and it's like, we are here. And she's like, no, that's not right. We're actually more here. And she's like poking his chest. And this is his first interaction with a woman.
You can tell.
So he is amazed that a girl just like touched him. And so she takes out like a pen and like corrects his shirt. Like, here, I fixed it for you. And he's like, are you into astronomy? And she's like, yeah, who is it? Which is really funny. And then the school bell goes off again and she freaks out. And Diego says, okay, listen, that's Randy. Do not talk to him. And she's like, why not? And as this is happening, two kids go up to Randy and shove him into a locker and are like beating him up. And they turn around and he's like, and that's why.
Yeah.
Then during class, they're learning about Moby Dick. Sammy raises her hand to answer a question. But so does Miss Dora the Explorer. And the teacher's like, oh, thank God.
Somebody else.
She's like, yes, Dora, please. And Dora goes into something about how it's like cultural appropriation or something. I don't know. I believed her though. I did not have to question. And
Dora.
that pisses off Sammy. But also everyone is making fun of Dora because she's smart. So they start calling her Dorka. Which...
Damn.
It's kind of a good one.
It's kind of good.
And while in the bathroom after class, Sammy comes up to Dora and basically tells her, you better back off. She says, there's nothing more dangerous than a wounded animal. And Dora goes, well, actually, there are a lot of things that are more dangerous. A healthy animal, for starters. And it's just how blunt and just like, she does not play. I love movies like this where it's like they take somebody who is so socially inept and put them in a situation where it's like it's just not gonna work. You're not gonna be able to.
You can't read her.
You can't read her.
You can't read the doll.
Bitch, you can't read the doll.
You cannot read the doll. And basically Sammy's just like, you like need to leave me alone, but it just does not work because you can't threaten her. Dora had a great first day. She loved it. Diego did not like that day.
They're all
Dora,
making fun of him now, yeah.
Yep, and Dora, since moving, has been keeping up with her parents. She's keeping contact. They're sending her their coordinates just to be safe because they're explorers. They know to be smart about that. So Dora's been keeping track of her parents. Dora continues to go through school, being awkward in pretty much all social situations. She's going up and like thanking the cafeteria worker.
That mac and cheese was amazing. Good job, everyone.
She doesn't know what mac and cheese is. She's just like not picking up on like anything. There's a moment, a really funny one. She's trying to get out the school bus and it closes on her backpack.
That's my favorite part in the whole movie. So like the bus drives off and she's like stuck to the bus. She's like, whoa.
She's like, excuse me.
That was good.
And Dora gets to a point where her parents stop returning her calls. And she's kind of also getting a little more like she's not liking it as much because she's like saying to her parents, she's like, miss you, miss Boots, miss everything. So it's like she's kind of like
she's the outcast.
And she's like hitting her finally, and she's like still trying to go through life, just being her. And then we learn about the dance that's coming up. It's the winter dance, and it says dress up as your favorite star.
Right. So everyone's dressed up as celebrities.
But Dora dresses up as the sun.
Yeah, her favorite
Which is
star.
kind of funny. Like, it's actually really cute.
Clever, yeah.
It's really funny. Dora goes up to Randy, who is dressed... He's wearing a hydrogen shirt, which is what stars are made of.
Right.
They're just continuing to kind of flirt.
These two are two peas in a pod.
They're literally made for each other. And he mentions to Dora that he can hold his breath for 7 minutes, which will come into play later.
Right.
And he says... Oh, yeah, my parents used to leave me unsupervised at the public pool a lot. Pretending to drown is a great way to get attention.
Yeah,
He's like, wanna see? And so he starts to, like, hold his breath. And then the music starts playing, and Dora, like, loves
Come on,
the
make
song.
me do that bang again. I don't know the words, but you know what I mean.
She knows it.
It's a good one.
Like, oh, I'm gonna dance to this. And she starts dancing, and everyone starts making fun of her. Because she's doing all these, like, animal dances.
This is the peacock move. And she starts walking like a peacock. Yeah.
The elephant.
They're all, like, animal dances. I loved it. She ate, honestly.
She tries to get Diego to dance with her. And he gets mad and leaves embarrassed, and Dora goes after him. And he's like, don't you get it? Like, everyone's, like, making fun of you. Like, everyone thinks you're a joke. She's like, well, yeah, I'm not stupid. She's like, but what am I supposed to do? I can't not be myself. That's all I know how to do.
Yeah.
And then Diego gets a little mean, and he calls her the class weirdo. He's like, it's hard enough to take care of myself, but also having to take care of the class weirdo is really just, like, unfair. And so that just, like, really pisses. Like, he upsets Dora, and Dora goes home, and she's talking to Abuelita.
Oh, I like this scene.
And Abuelita is comforting her. Dora's convinced that Diego hates her, and she's saying, no, that's not true. And then Dora asks, Abuelita, am I a weirdo?
She wants to say yes so bad.
She goes, no more than the rest of us.
And she's like,
that's not a no.
Abuelita goes, let's get you something to eat, honey.
Let's get you some beans.
Yeah, that was great.
It's really, really funny.
I love Abuelita.
Okay, so then we are going there on a class field trip to the Natural History Museum. And they are given a scavenger hunt, and they're all split into groups, and our group of that's left is Dora, Diego, Sammy, and Randy, which makes sense because we got 3 outcasts and Diego, who's an outcast now because of Dora.
Yeah, exactly. No one else wanted to be friends.
Nobody wanted to be with any of these people, so it makes sense that these 4 are stuck together. And one of the questions is find the artifact in the museum that's the oldest one. And whoever finds the oldest one gets bonus points. And they notice that there's an Egyptian exhibit. And Dora's like, well, if anything's the oldest, it's going to be Egyptian. Like, obviously. Like, because for people who don't understand Egyptian history, ancient Egypt was ancient when Cleopatra was alive.
Right.
So, like, even she was like, what the fuck is this shit? But we then learned that the exhibit, it doesn't open for 2 weeks. And Dora's talking to one of the museum curators or, like, employees. Is it a curator? Is that what they're called?
I think curator is the right word.
Is the right word?
And this was weird. She's like,
oh, I overheard about your scavenger hunt.
I'll help you with your scavenger hunt. Follow me.
And she's
I'm just this random worker who's gonna
like, oh, it's not in the basement, but I can get you down there. And she's like, Dora's like, oh, okay. And she leaves a door unlocked so that Dora, like, notices, like, oh, this door's unlocked if you want to get it. Dora takes the gang down there, and they're walking down there, and they hear somebody. They're like, shit, we gotta hide. Dora gets caught. And the others are hiding, and it turns out the lady that helped Dora is a treasure hunter, and the people who captured her are all treasure hunters. And they are looking for Parapata. They want Dora to get to her parents. And so the kids are hiding the other 3 are hiding in a box, which happens to be the box that they put Dora in, and they throw in like a sleeping gas and knock the 4 of them out. And when we wake up, we are now in Peru. And they are all freaking out. First of all, Sammy right away is like, we just left the U.S. without our visas. Like, what are we going to do? We have to call the U.S. Embassy. And it's like, bitch, we're being kidnapped right now. I think we have 100 other things to worry about right now. Dora and her friends are then rescued by a friend of Dora's parents named Alejandro. He claims to be a professor. He says he knew Dora before when she was an infant. And that was the last time he saw her. He just hasn't seen her. And he says that Dora's father sent him his journal to try and come help rescue him. As they're all trying to escape, the treasure hunters call in some backup. And it's Swiper the fucking fox.
Oh my god, I loved this.
And it's literally Swiper.
Oh yeah.
It's Swiper. He's got the mask and everything. It's Swiper.
It's Swiper.
He is literally in this. And he could talk, and he steals Dora's backpack. And Dora's like, oh my god, he stole the backpack with the map in it. And everyone just kind of looks at her, and she's like, which part of the fox stole my map do you not understand? Help me.
And then she does like a backflip.
She does everything herself, and she like jumps onto a plane and runs after Swiper. He then like evades her and jumps onto like a plane propeller, and it starts like spinning, and she like dives underneath it.
Oh, she does this amazing, like, it's like the Matrix, where she's like a back bend underneath the propeller.
Yes.
It was
yes.
cunt.
It's so good.
She goes full Laura Croft for a moment.
And unfortunately, Swiper does get away with the map, but the group is able to escape in a Jeep that Alejandro was able to steal from the treasure hunters, and they escape into like a cornfield. Not cornfield, but it's like
some kind of field, yeah.
It's like a field. I don't know what they grow in Peru. And this is, I really liked. Sammy is like freaking out. She's like, why was that fox wearing a mask? Why does he need to remain anonymous? Who would remember a specific fox?
She has a point.
And it's kind of true. It's like, why does he wear that mask? And Sammy and Randy are both not having it. Randy's like, this is the place where people die. We're going to die out here. And Dora's like, we're fine. Like, calm down.
Girl, you're with Dora.
But Dora basically explains, like, if y'all want to leave, we have to find my parents. Like, that's the only way we're getting out of here.
Right.
So they're like, shit, okay. And they go into the jungle and have to get on foot because it gets too thick. You can't keep driving the Jeep.
Right.
And they discover her parents' camp, and it has been raided. Like, it looks destroyed. And they've been tracking, their parents leave a marker, and it's like a red circle that they'll leave on trees. And they notice one that it got put up really quickly. And Dora's like, oh, they were in a rush. Like, something was going on. And then Boots the monkey shows up.
Yeah.
And Alejandro is freaking out when he first pops out. And he's like, kill it! Kill it! Kill it!
Yeah.
And it's like, it's Boots the monkey.
It's Boots.
And so they kind of talk with Boots. Boots is like, I know where they're at. Like, they were here. Don't worry. Let's keep going. They're safe. And so Dora's like, cool, whatever. And Dora's also kind of been noticing that Sammy's being a little weird and kind of being like, Sammy, are you okay? She's like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. But then it gets to a point where Sammy's like, can we stop so I can do something?
And she's like sweating.
And they're like, so you can do what? Like, the boys are both like, what? She's like, just something. They're like, well, what is it? She's like, nothing. I just have to do something. And Dora goes, I know what's going on here. You have to poo.
You have to take a shit. Yeah, she has like poop cramps.
And she's like, of course I have to poo. It's been 48 hours and I haven't pooed. And then Dora takes Sammy away and pulls out the poo shovel.
Yeah, and she starts
She's
singing
digging a hole and singing a little song
the poop song.
about digging a hole and how it's natural fertilizer, which is true, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
But remember, if you are going to take a shit in the woods, you do have to dig a hole a foot deep. So
Why?
it'll attract predators. It'll attract animals. So you have to like bury it. So that it
Interesting.
doesn't
I didn't know
attract
that. I
predators.
didn't know that.
Yeah, that's like the other thing you're supposed to do. Like if you're in the wild, is you're supposed to go into water and shit. Like you have to be able to submerge yourself enough to where you can just like squat and shit in water, like because that's what people do on Survivor.
Oh, wow.
They tell them, they're like, you can bury a hole, you can do a hole. They're like, but you don't really want to do that. Like just go in the ocean and take a shit.
Bitch, I would not be caught dead on fucking Survivor or in the jungle or anything like that. I've never been a nature girly.
While Sammy is doing her business and taking a shit, the group then gets attacked by random flying arrows. They run past Sammy and she's like, look away, look away! They're like, girl, we don't have time to. And she's wearing white pants and she did not wipe.
Oh, skid marks.
She got skid marks.
Skid marks
she
central.
She had the skid mark. You know she got those skid marks. They hide into a log and that then tumbles down a hill. And Alejandro believes that they were attacked by the guardians of Parapata. And Sammy at this point has a huge meltdown. And freaks out on Dora. Dora's like, hey, why don't we sing a song about this? And Sammy is not having it. And tells her, girl, no more songs. We're not doing this anymore. And so Dora kind of goes off, and Diego comes and comforts her and is like, listen, I know that sucked, but she's really not that bad. this is just a really stressful situation. Like, everything's kind of good. Like, don't worry. And Dora starts, this is really cute. She does, like, this really cute, like, kind of laugh, smile. She's like,
I know what's going on.
she's like, you're attracted to her.
You have attraction for her.
And then she says, traumatic experiences can really speed up the mating process between certain species. And he's like, please don't ever say mating. But this is the moment where, because there have been other moments where they kind of, like each other. Like, Sammy and Diego.
Oh, the sexual tension between those two.
So... yeah. Dora clocked it real quick.
And Sammy, I will say, like, she's very pretty, this actress.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
They try to paint her as this, like, dorky girl, but it's like, she's gorgeous.
No, she's so pretty. I don't think they've tried to paint her as dorky. It's more that she's a hard ass.
So, okay, yeah, sure.
I get her more as,
she's
like...
bossy. She's bossy.
She's the bossy
She's
girl.
Hermione.
She's a hard ass.
Yeah.
She doesn't take shit. But it's like... she takes what she does seriously.
Right.
So it's like, you can't get mad at somebody like that, really. At this point, the mercenaries have kind of caught up with them, and there's, like, a funny moment where, like, they almost get caught, but then Boots, like, distracts them. And they're like, oh, or, like, one of the guys is like, oh, are you scared of monkeys now? He's like, listen, monkeys can carry 3 times their own body weight. I'm not scared of them, it's just a monkey
I'm scared of monkeys.
Yeah, they rip off people's faces.
Chimps and all that shit. See our Nope episode.
The Nope one is based off a true story.
I know.
That actually happened. It was in Florida. You remember that?
Yes, and it was on Oprah, bitch.
And she was like, can I look? And I was like, Oprah, don't look.
Oprah.
I was like, I want to look. She just didn't even ask her. She just
Snatched it. Oprah girl.
Then, while following the notes that Dora's dad had left them, they discovered an old opera house that was built by the Europeans that is like a waypoint towards Parapata. And so they're there, and it's all destroyed. Like, it does not look like an opera house. Like, it's completely destroyed.
So, like, they take a step, and then it goes...
yeah, it's making, like, fart noises.
And they're like, who farted? But then you realize they're in this, like, weird mushy shit that's making fart noises. Alejandro keeps, like, going like, oh, I ate a chimichanga today.
Oh, I ate a burrito.
I had beans and rice.
And then Brandy's like, does anyone notice that the walls are getting taller?
And they realize that they're in quicksand.
Quicksand.
Yeah.
Dora's cool, calm, and collected at this point. Because she knows how to get out of quicksand. So she's like, y'all, just lay down on your backs. Like, kick your legs lightly. And then just backstroke out.
And they all get out except...
Alejandro, who is freaking out. And he has been this whole time...
kind of useless and like a wet
for somebody
blanket.
who acts like he knows what he's doing, he does not know how to handle this jungle.
Right, he freaks out.
Because he has been freaking out a lot.
There was a moment earlier where he was like, now, rule number 1 is just like, don't panic. And then he's like, he runs into like a spider web and he's like, get off me! And then he like freaks out so much that he runs into a tree and like hurts himself.
He's like, that's why you don't freak out.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And so Alejandro, at this point, a scorpion comes and crawls on his head.
And he's like neck deep in the...
yeah, so he's like, oh my god. And they're like, it's okay, just do not panic. And then a second scorpion shows up. And Dora's like, oh, it's another male, like...
they're gonna fight.
They're gonna fight for, like, dominance.
And she's like, oh wait, no, it's a female.
Oh, they're mating.
They're mating. And so the scorpion's mating on his
and
fucking
that's
head.
when Alejandro has had it. And so he goes under. And they're like, oh my god.
What do we do?
But they find out that the way the quicksand is, there's like a platform underneath it, so they see Alejandro's feet.
Yeah, it's like letting out through this like hole, and he can like fall out through the other
And so they're like,
side.
oh, grab his feet. And so they pull him out. They saved Alejandro, and he has a meltdown.
It's so funny.
He's like, I thought I was gonna die.
He's like a fully grown man, like processing this as if he was like a child, and all these like teens are like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like Randy literally says, it's so awkward when adults cry, like you don't know where to look.
He's like blubbering. He's like, oh, there was a scorpion on my head.
They were made. I thought I was gonna die. And he goes, I'm so sorry. I'm a bad guy.
Yeah.
I'm a bad guy.
Dora's like, no, don't say that.
No, you're not. He goes, no, I'm a bad guy. No. Everyone may feel that way, but you're not a bad guy. So, if y'all aren't paying attention, Alejandro isn't the most trustworthy character.
Right. Who's this actor? Can you look up the name of the actor who plays Alejandro?
Because he is fine. He is another one that is... Him, Dora's dad, and Diego's dad are like... trifecta of just fine men.
Eugenio Derbez, he is hilarious. and very sexy, and I think he does a great job as this character.
Yeah.
It's a character that maybe on paper might feel a little...
Clear villain.
Right, exactly.
But he does it in such a fun way.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
He's great. He's great. They are then greeted by an old indigenous woman who knows of the Parapata. And she basically warns them that, like, if you go, you're going to die. Because she pulls out these little clay figures that look like all of them. The Dora one, the Bob is bobbing.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, look, they're little figures of us. And she takes a rock and just starts smashing them. And then they're like, oh, okay. And then she just keeps going.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that doesn't seem like a good sign.
We got it. Yeah.
And Dora's talking to them, and she's like, the woman, and she's like, okay, she knows a way to get downriver so you guys can get to safety. I'm going to keep going because I need to get my parents. And Diego's like, well, I'm going to stay behind because you're my cousin. And I just don't, that doesn't feel right. And then obviously Alejandro's going to continue to go with them. And then, so they separate, and while the old indigenous woman is taking Sammy and Randy to a boat, Sammy notices that she has a tattoo on her arm that looks like the symbol of the Parapata. So she's like, oh, this ain't right. So she's like, we got to get back and warn those guys. So she's like, we have to go find Dora and the others. So they leave the old woman behind. She's pissed. Meanwhile, Diego, Dora, and Alejandro are wandering through this giant, like, flower garden. And Dora's like, okay, these are clearly poisonous, so let's not touch them. Let's be careful. And while she was saying this, I noticed this. Alejandro was about to touch one. She's like, don't touch anything. He's like, ooh. Which again is another, like, there's really good moments to notice that, like, he does not know what the fuck he's doing out here.
Yeah.
They're making it through, and then at the very last second, Alejandro accidentally sets one off. And all the flowers burst open and set out spores. And Dora's like, okay, well, if this was poisonous, we'd already be dead by now. So clearly it's not poison. They all start tripping balls.
Tripping balls.
And they turn
start
in...
imagining themselves as...
the cartoon characters.
Cartoons, bitch. Yeah.
Alejandro strips off all of his clothes and runs away naked.
Yeah. And it's
Diego...
it's animated just like how the Dora show
Diego
was
is
animated.
loving Baha'i. He's
Yeah.
like, I feel amazing.
I feel great. Look at me. I can swing on a branch and shit.
And then we get a cameo from all of the characters.
The cow. What's the cow's name?
Benny the Bull.
Benny the Bull. I was
Benny the
really
Bull.
excited to see Benny the
I like Tito the Squirrel. Tito,
of
because he
course.
always spoke Spanish. And Diego and Dora are thankfully saved by Sammy and Randy. Everyone's been recovered. They also found Alejandro. He's still naked, but unfortunately, he gets his clothes back for the next scene. That was very sad. And then, while they're continuing, the group then fall into an ancient temple of some sort, and they discover a star map, and notice that all the stars are in the wrong place. And so Randy assumes this is a jungle puzzle, like he's seen in movies and video games, and he pulls a lever. And it turns out they're actually in an aqueduct, which is like an old water system that the Incans would use. And so the aqueduct begins to fill with water. And Diego kind of takes control of the situation and tells everyone, like, because he remembers learning about these aqueducts in school. And so he's like, I know how these are kind of built and how we need to, like, there's a hatch at the bottom that we need to get undone and then it'll flush the water out. We'll be safe. And so they're trying to get it open. And Randy then has to be the hero because he can hold his breath for 7 minutes.
Right.
So he goes down and does it, and he opens up the hatch, and they all get shot down a slide into like a lagoon of some sort. And when they come to, who helps them but Dora's parents?
Yes, Eva Longoria's back, bitch.
And it is at this moment we learn that Alejandro is not only a bad guy, but is the leader of the mercenaries. He did not know Dora's parents at all, and he was just tricking them the whole time. The mercenaries meet up with Alejandro, and they capture Dora and her friends and family, and they make it to Parapata then. Boots then comes and helps everyone by untying their hands. And the Spanish version of Boots by Nancy Sinatra played, which I really, really liked.
Oh my god, it was so fun.
And they get caught trying to escape, and Dora uses her yo-yo to save them. And she goes, wow, my yo-yo really is my most dangerous weapon.
Oh yeah, did we even mention that?
I don't think we did, but like when she got all of her stuff taken at school during the metal detector, the guy was like, "You could keep your yo-yo." She's like, "This is my most dangerous weapon," and it really was. After getting saved, Boots literally talks to Dora and basically is like, "Listen, you're not an adult, but you're not a child either. You're a teenager. It's a really awkward time." But
And he sounds like Morgan Freeman.
yeah, you just gotta stay true to yourself. And she's like, "You can talk?" And then he just stops talking. So, we'll never really know if Boots can talk or not. Her and the group then plan to get into Parapata and to save Dora's parents. And they find that paralyzing frog, and they use that to get past Swiper and one of the guards of the
And he
temple.
goes, "Oh, man," as he passes out.
And when they get into Parapata, they have to do an actual jungle puzzle with constellations. So basically the floor is lit up with a bunch of constellations, and then when the moon is covered up, the correct ones will shine so they know which levers to pull. They solve the puzzle and are taken into another room where they have to do another jungle puzzle. And then this one, it's like a light puzzle. It reminded me a lot of Legend of Zelda, because this is like such a Legend of Zelda, like using the light to reflect it, to make something shine. So anyone who's played a Legend of Zelda game and done a light puzzle, you know what I'm talking about. Basically, they have to shine the light on different bowls so that it hits a spot on the wall, which will open another door. And they're doing it, but Sammy accidentally drops a bowl because she gets scared by a spider. That triggers another trap of spikes that start coming down from the ceiling that are trying to impale them. But they get into the next room, but unfortunately, it's another trap, and it turns into a slide that is going to slide them in. And this is Tomb Raider AF. A slide into a bunch of spikes. Diego's like, "Listen, it's an illusion. We just have to slide and jump at the last minute over the spikes. Like, we'll be fine."
Very Tomb Raider.
Very Tomb Raider. And they do it. They do it. They then think they found the treasure. There's these two tables just covered in all this treasure, gold, emeralds. And Dora realizes that, no, this is another puzzle. And there's an Incan statue in the middle. And there's a riddle that's basically says, you have to offer what the Incans revered the most. And at this moment, Alejandro has caught up with them. And he says, gold. That's the answer. They revered gold the most. He puts in a piece of gold into the statue. It's like a little like statue that like has its hands out. And when you put it in, it like lifts its hands. It kind of is like an automatic bank. Like, you know, those like electronic banks. Those like gimmicky ones that people have.
Dora's like, "Oh, you thought this was a rabbit? Bet you it's Winnie the fucking Pooh, bitch."
Oh, you thought this was a rabbit? They thought this was a rabbit?
Oh, that's funny.
That's fucking funny, bitch. It's fucking Winnie the fucking Pooh.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Fuck 4th of July.
Fuck
No,
4th of
Dora
July.
basically knew that, like, she tricked him, basically. She knew that was not the answer.
It was a mind
She knew
game.
it was going to be dire consequences. She's like, I'd rather him take the risk than us do it.
And while he was putting the gold piece onto the hands of the statue, Dora is like ushering her friends to get back.
Yeah.
Right?
Because she knew.
And she's like, "Oh, bitch, you thought this was a rabbit, but I played a mind game on you. It was a mind screw and it worked."
Yep.
It was a mind thing. She got mind screwed by me, and it worked.
And the floor then falls, and we believe that Alejandro has fallen into a pit of lava. But he's okay.
He's hanging on.
And he
to the
starts
edge.
calling in his mercenaries to come get him. And then, at this moment, a bunch of Incan soldiers appear with the old woman from earlier. And Dora's parents. So they'd captured Dora's parents, and the old woman reveals herself as the queen of Parapata, and she took the substance.
I know, I go, "Oh, she took the substance." Because she, like, literally, like, reverses her age and becomes this young, beautiful warrior.
And she's like,
goddess.
y'all are done. You're all being captured. And Dora's like, no, like, we are not with him. We were not trying to steal your treasure. We are just here to learn. That is all we're here to do. And so she's like, okay, if you can solve the riddle, I will let you all go. And so Dora goes around the tables, kind of looking at all the treasures. And she realizes that the answer... Parker, would you like to reveal what the answer was?
Agua. Water, bitch.
Can you say agua?
Agua, bitch. I think Dora taught me that, bitch. But she collects some water from the fountain into a bowl, and she places it into the hands of the statue. And luckily, that was correct, which makes sense, right? Because water is
It's
like
the source of all life.
Yes,
Like, you can't survive without water. It's, that's how their food, which would have been
plants
plant-based.
could
Like,
grow. Yeah,
you need
exactly.
water. When you go into the aqueducts and, like, how they knew how to manipulate water and use it in gravity and
Well,
shit.
yeah, and you always think about like ancient cultures doing like rain dances.
Yeah.
And the water cycle was very important to them.
Yeah. And so then the treasure is revealed, and it is a big gold monkey statue. But while they're looking at the giant treasure, Swiper shows up and steals the smaller statue, which angers the gods, according to the Queen of Parapata.
Swiper.
And the temple starts to destroy itself. Boots is able to stop Swiper and gets the statue back. And then Dora takes the statue and she runs it back into Parapata. Like, they had escaped.
They're
and
like, Dora, no.
they're like, yeah, girl, you can't be doing that.
She like sacrifices herself.
And she's able to return the statue to the city, and it restores the city to its former glory. They then leave the city of Parapata, and it locks itself up and recovers itself with like vines and shrubbery just to protect it from future treasure hunters.
And Randy's like, I think we should put a sign up that says, choose the water.
Diego and Sammy kiss at this point, which I did not appreciate.
No.
Them pushing an agenda on me during this movie.
Yeah, I don't think that
I don't.
there should be
listen,
straight kisses in
I don't have a
in
problem with
kids'
straight
movies.
people. I just don't want to see it.
Exactly.
So
I don't like them. I don't appreciate them pushing the agenda. I think that's fucked up.
I think it's really weird. This is a kids movie. Stop
a
pushing
kids'
your
movie.
sick, twisted agenda.
I don't need to see a man and a woman kiss.
Like, straight people are literally disgusting.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, bitch.
And I will die on that hill. Anyway.
And I agree. And I've always said that.
They return to Dora's home, and everyone is reunited with their families. And Dora's parents let her know that they are planning to go on another expedition, and they would really love for Dora to come with them. And Dora decides that no, she needs to be around high schoolers a little bit more and really study their species.
Sure. But she really just has loved meeting her new friends.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I
listen-
thought this was kind of bullshit. I'm sorry, but if I was Dora, I'd be like, okay, fuck yeah, take me back.
Please, it sucked.
I don't give a fuck about high school. Yeah.
So Dora returns to LA, and we get to a final dance sequence at the school. Everyone joins in on the dance, and Dora leads a giant conga line singing, "Yay, hooray, we did it!"
It's very, come on, vámonos. Or like, we did it.
We did it. It's
We
like a
did it.
combination of the two
Lo
songs.
hicimos, we did it. Yeah, it was cute.
It's a very big combination of the two songs. It was fun.
And like Diego doesn't care. He's dancing in front of like the school now.
Oh, yeah, everyone
He's
joins
dancing
in.
with Dora. You know.
And it's a very, very fun time. I enjoyed it. And that's Dora and the Lost City of Gold.
Yeah.
I think it's a very fun, campy movie. It's very self-aware. I really have 0 notes for this movie. I really love this movie. I think it's a very fun time.
It's cute.
It's a cute picture.
It's a cute picture.
All right. Do you have anything to add, Parker?
I love The Substance. Has anyone seen The Substance?
That one friend that's a little too into...
I'm that one friend that's a little too obsessed with The Substance.
No, I'm the one friend that's a little too into Nora.
Oh yeah, you said Nora was good.
I like it. If y'all have not seen Nora, go see Nora. It's really funny.
Look, I'm just really excited to get to my movies that I picked.
Yeah.
Because I picked 2 of them.
I'm excited to not have to
truly-
do notes.
Again for again. You did a good job though.
Thank you.
But yeah, so next week and the week after, I chose 2 of my like all-time favorite non-horror movies.
Yeah.
And I'm really, really excited. Next week, we are going to be discussing probably my favorite movie ever.
Yeah.
Which is Romy and Michelle's high school reunion.
I have my 10-year reunion this month.
Mine's next year. Yeah.
crazy.
It's coming up. I think this is going to be good timing because next week will be our 1-year anniversary of doing Let's Scream.
So exciting.
I know.
And crazy.
It's crazy to think. This year's flown by for us. And that movie just, to me, is a masterpiece. I've seen it so many times.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you so much for joining us today on Let's Scream. We hope you had a fun time with us at Parapata.
Parapata with Dora.
Please remember to follow the pod, like the pod, and leave a glowing review of the pod, of course. We are at Let's Scream Pod on all social medias. And you can follow me at Stevie Nash95 on Instagram.
And you can follow me at Parker_Will_C on Instagram.
And until next time, this has been
Let's Scream. Bye.